Welcome to the 2020 annual report for the WYCO WOLFPACK. 23 athletes from the WOLFPACK submitted their Strava data to me so that I could take a look at it and put together some charts. Here are the 23 athletes and their Strava birthdays. Look at how Shane goes all the way back to 2012, and the youngest in this group is Lobo, who joined Strava in 2019. Here you can see the wide range of activities the group engaged in over the year. We covered a lot: bike ride, snowshoeing, virtual ride, stand-up paddling. The two big ones were running and riding. Let's take a look first at the riding activities. Biking has always been popular within the WOLFPACK, but I would say we've seen more biking this year than in any other. Take a look at all the participants and all the miles there. But then at the top of the chart, you can see Shane really led the group with almost 3,000 miles. Big bravo to Mark, WYCO, Lobo, and Nick, who all cleared 1,000 miles. And these bike riders didn't stay to the flatlands. They climbed a lot of hills. Take a look at Lobo, Mark, and WYCO and how high they climbed. And Shane way up there with 174,000 feet of elevation. He climbed higher than all of the riders up to Scott combined. Okay, now let's take a look at running, which is the biggest activity among the WOLFPACK. And as you can see, looking at the yearly mileage, Morgan dominated, and Taylor was right behind him in second place and number one female. But let's see how it broke down day by day throughout the year. Taylor and Morgan took a lead fairly early on. See Peter pop up there, then Todd pop up there for a little bit. See Jeremiah coming up, and then look at WYCO come up into that second place spot and hold it fairly long. Taylor just nipping away at his heels. She retakes the second place, back and forth they go. He holds on to it. Then as we get into the fall, watch Taylor pop back up there again. Hold on to it till the end of the year. Congrats to Morgan for 3,400 miles and to Taylor for 2,600 miles. Great job. Now let's look at it month by month. You can see Morgan led January with 325 miles, and again in February he led with 296. Todd had a really strong March with 354 miles. Then in April, Morgan took the lead again with 317. As a club, that was our highest month with almost 4,000 miles. Then in May, Jeremiah set a new record with 425 miles, only to be broken in June by Cody with 508 miles. Morgan regained in July with 324 miles, and again in August with 309 miles. WYCO pops back up there with a big month in September, 283 miles. And then get a load of this, a new entrance. Taylor has 258 in October and again wins November with 243 miles. Scott finishes the year off with a big 304 miles for the big lead in December. And by the way, Taylor had 9 months over 200 miles. And Morgan, every one of his months was over 200 miles, and he had 5 that were over 300. Generally, the amount of time spent running corresponded with the miles running. You can see both Morgan and Taylor had significant time spent running for the year. But a couple that stood out were in February, Bob and Dan had huge time running because of their adventure down at Love It. In July, Nell had the most amount of time, and she had it again in November. And then in October, Susie had the most amount of time run because she was doing her homemade 100 during that month. And one final metric to look at is the elevation for running. You can see we climbed a lot of hills during 2020. And up there at the leader of the pack, WYCO climbed 266,000 feet. That's the equivalent of over 9 Everest. Matt had 251,000 feet, and Nell led the women division with 228,000 feet. Morgan, Dan, Scott, Ted, Peter, Bob, and Nick all had over 150,000 feet of elevation in 2020. And here's to a great 2021.